Hi boys and girls, this is Mr. Anderson. Hope everybody's doing well and staying safe. We had a pretty wild week last week with the tornadoes, but I'm glad that we are back to business as usual and we're ready to get to work today. Today what you're going to need is a pencil, an eraser, and some scissors. So make sure you pause the video to get your materials if you don't have them already, and then hit play when you're done. This is what your page is going to look like today. It says Math Monday. At the top, I'd like for you to go ahead and put your name, and then I'm going to give you the instructions for today. This says cut out numbers and symbols. Use numbers to create greater than, less than, and equal to comparisons. Write 20 of the comparisons you create in the boxes below. So what you're going to do is you're going to open your packet up to the next few pages. The first one is going to look like this here with all these numbers. The next one's going to look like this here with all those numbers. And finally, it's going to look like this. This has all the numbers, and then we also see these three symbols at the bottom. Now, what we've been learning before is how to tell if something is greater than or less than or equal to. I'll choose two numbers to compare today. The first number I'm going to choose is 281. So I'll write that here. Excuse my technical difficulties. 281. And then I'll choose another number. Let's say I'm going to choose 801. I'm going to write that here. Now I'm going to decide if I'm going to use equal than, less than, or greater than. Now I know that it cannot be equal to because these numbers are not the same. So I'm going to go ahead and say it's not equal to. So that only gives me two other options. When we talked about this before, remember we talked about maybe an alligator or some kind of other animal that was opening its mouth and wanted to eat the biggest number. So in order to compare the numbers, I'm going to start looking at my hundreds place first. In my hundreds place for 281, I have the number 2. And in my hundreds place for 801, I have 8. This one's pretty easy because I already know that 8 is greater than 2. So that means 801 is going to be greater than 281. So I'm going to draw that little alligator mouth right here because he wants to eat the biggest number. So I know that this number here is greater than this number here. Now that I've completed this number sentence, I'm going to go back over to my other paper here, and I'm going to write my comparison in the first box. This is what my number sentence is going to look like. So once I've completed the first one, I'm going to go back and look at my other numbers, and I'm going to choose a new one to work with. I could choose 504 and 823. And then I'm going to write those numbers down just like I did before. And I'm going to compare them. I'm going to choose if it equals the same, if it's greater than, or if it's less than. When I've decided that, I'm going to put it right here in the next box. I'm going to continue doing that all the way down until I've got all my boxes filled up. The reason that we've got scissors today is so that we can cut out all these numbers and you can manipulate them on your table. That means you can set them on your table and move them around and compare them however you need to. Now it's up to you. You can use some of the comparisons that I showed you today, or you can come up with your own. You're going to have to come up with a few on your own because we've got so many to put on our boxes here. When you filled out every single one of these boxes, then you're going to go on to the next page. The next page says use the greater than, less than, or equal to symbol to compare. Use what you know about place value to explain how you compared the numbers. Now right here I have the number 440, and it's either going to be greater than, less than, or equal to the number 404. Remember, we always want to start with our hundreds place and compare those. Now those are the same, so that means we're going to go and compare the tens place next. And if those are the same, even though they're not here, but if they are later on, we'll have to even go all the way and compare the ones place. So what we're going to do is you're just going to write the correct symbol in the circle right here. And then you're going to explain how you compare the numbers. So if you had to narrow it down to the tens place, you would write something along the lines of, I had to look at the tens place. You're going to do the exact same thing for all of the rest of the questions. And that's all there is to it today, boys and girls. If you have any questions, don't forget you can email any of your teachers and ask them, and they'll be glad to help you. Or you can play this video again if you didn't catch something. Hope you guys are staying well and having a great time. We'll see you tomorrow.